A very good evening to you and welcome to our primetime news. You're watching News First, your #1 news provider, and I'm Sandro Ferdinando.
And I'm Azra Hassan. Let's now take a look at tonight's headlines.
Notices issued to the former Secretary of Defense, 2 Major Generals and 3 former Navy commanders in connection to the avant-garde transactions. The UN Secretary General calls on the President. UPFA General Secretary says that people who want to divide the SLFP should not attend the party convention.
Sri Lanka එක කඩන්න උනන්දු වෙන කට්ටිය තමයි මේකට විරුද්ධ වෙන්නේ. ඒ අය නාමට කමක් නෑ අපිට.
Minister Harin Fernando responds to the statements made at the UMPers who will attend the SLFP anniversary celebrations.
ඒක ඒවා ඇත්තටම බුරු කතා. මොකද ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයේ එච්චර බංකොලොත් වෙලා නෑ. ඒකාබද්ධ විපක්ෂයේ විසින්
The overall trade performance of Sri Lanka has been in decline over the past several years. A statement by the Assistant US Trade Representative for South Asia. The government, the 100 Days Initiative, commended by the Chief Prelate of the Malwatu chapter.
UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon met and held discussions with President Maithripala Sirisena earlier this evening. The meeting was held at the President's house in Colombo. During the meeting, the two leaders discussed about the ongoing development programs, the progress of the programs being implemented to strengthen reconciliation, and according to the Presidential Media Unit, President Sirisena had briefed the visiting UN Secretary General about the steps taken by the government with regard to the constitutional reforms, devolution and structural reforms, and noted he is looking forward to attend the UN General Assembly later this month.
The annual Facets, Gem and Jewellery Show 2016 commenced under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena at the BMICH today.
The exhibition, which is organized by the National Gem and Jewellery Authority, is being held for the 26th time. Over 200 local and foreign exhibitors will be showcasing their products at the exhibition, which will continue until the 4th of September. Upon inaugurating the exhibition, President Maithripala Sirisena inspected the exhibits and engaged in cordial discussions with the staff.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and his delegation arrived in Singapore today to participate in the Indian Ocean Conference 2016.
The officials of the Sri Lanka High Commission in Singapore welcomed the delegation headed by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. State Minister of External Affairs Sri M.J. Akbar also met with Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. State Minister Sri M.J. Akbar stated that the participation of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe will lighten and add more strength to the conference. The inauguration ceremony of the Indian Ocean Conference 2016 will take place this evening. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe delivered the inaugural address of the session. A communique issued by the Prime Minister's office says the conference will see a number of sessions being held where key topics such as security, economic, cultural and environmental issues in the Indian Ocean region will be discussed and analysed. Heads of state, politicians, experts and policymakers representing the Western countries are also scheduled to attend the preliminary sessions of the conference tomorrow on trade, investment and cultural sectors.
President of the Mahabodhi Society of Sri Lanka, Venerable Banagulu Thero, attended a workshop on commerce and trade that has been held on the sidelines of the Indian Ocean Conference 2016 in Singapore.
The workshop was chaired by the former Indian ambassador to Sri Lanka, Ashok K. Kanta. It also saw the participation of the chairman of the Institute of Policy Studies in Sri Lanka, Dr. Razin Saleh.
United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, who is in the island on an official visit, embarked on a tour to Galle this afternoon.
During his visit, the UN Secretary General attended the youth event titled Reconciliation and Coexistence, Role of Youth. The event was organized by the National Youth Services Council together with the Ministry of National Policies and Economic Affairs, the Office for National Unity and Reconciliation and the United Nations in Sri Lanka. Son of late Minister Festus Pereira, State Minister of National Policies and Economic Affairs Niroshan Pereira also attended the event.
There are 73 million young people who are out of jobs. This is one of the serious global problems now. This not a single country can solve the problem. The United Nations is taking such a serious attention on your future. It recognizes the role of young people as peace builders and agents of change who can break down barriers and reach across cultural divides. Sri Lanka has emerged as one of the biggest contributions to the youth agenda. Sri Lanka is a part of this world, and this world is very small, interconnected. We have only one planet Earth, so you have to work for your country and you have to work for this world.
If Sri Lanka is to achieve sustainable development in the future, peaceful coexistence of the multi-ethnic, multi-religious population is essential. After a 30-year war, our youth have a vital role in this post-conflict process as they hold the key to our future. Therefore, the present government, headed by His Excellency the President, Maithripala Sirisena, and Honorable Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, has envisioned the need for our youth to form a common Sri Lankan identity without losing the essence of their ethnic, religious and regional diversities.
After engaging with the youth, the UN Secretary General signed a pledge which read, "I pledge for shared prosperity, peace and partnership."
A number of individuals handed over epistles to the United Nations office in Colombo this afternoon.
The leader of the Janasita Peramuna handed over an epistle to the UN office in Colombo today. The country was destroyed by terrorism. During that time, people from other countries did not come here. Even Ban Ki-moon didn't come here. If there was a war at present, he would not have come. We have to especially thank former President Mahinda Rajapaksa for finishing the war. I have asked Ban Ki-moon in writing to let our country function as a free, independent and a sovereign country. Parliamentarian Bandula Gunawardena handed over a letter with the signatures of a number of leaders who represent the joint opposition. On behalf of the joint opposition, we handed over a letter to the General Secretary of the United Nations that contained the signatures of the party leaders. Through this letter, we have asked that the country be protected from the international attacks that are being carried out, to ask that an internal mechanism be used to do justice to all communities in the country, and to ask that the United Nations intervene to protect the sovereignty, the independence and the longevity of our country. The Ravana Balaya movement also handed an epistle to the UN office in Colombo. Venerable Bengamu Nalakatero also handed over an epistle on behalf of the National Rights Movement.
An intersessional meeting of the United States-Sri Lanka Trade and Investment Framework Agreement took place in Colombo today.
To say that given the compulsions of coalition politics and the capacity constraints found in any developing country, that we have progressed well and our resolve and commitment towards pursuing reforms are getting even more stronger. While all this is encouraging, I am of the view that we are somewhat falling behind meeting the expectations of the vast majority of our people in improving their material well-being. In their eyes, the dividends they expect from the January 8th political transition is not confined to the gains I have just catalogued. They are also interested in a sustainable economic dividend. In fact, they are becoming impatient for it. Our government is very serious, our government is very conscious that we need development, which is inclusive and regionally balanced for it to be sustainable and touch the lives of all our people.
The minister also commented on the goals that they hope to accomplish through the Trade and Investment Framework Agreement with the United States.
The US already has some special programs such as the qualifying industrial zones, the special program for Haiti, the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, as well as the special programs for the Caribbean and the Andean countries. Mr. Delani, we expect a positive response towards establishing a similar program for Sri Lanka, a preferential trade program for the conflict-impacted and lagging regions of our country.
Our mutual goal is not just to strengthen the economic relationship between our two countries, but also to help improve Sri Lanka's trade, investment, and labor rules in order to encourage foreign direct investment, and provide economic benefits and jobs to the Sri Lankan people. Since the election of the current government in 2015, Sri Lanka has made important progress on democratic rights, reconciliation, rule of law, and freedom of expression. These changes have created new trade and investment opportunities between Sri Lanka and the rest of the world, laying the foundation for new markets, new industries, and new jobs. Indeed, Sri Lanka is showing the world how reconciliation and economic growth can go hand in hand.
The overall trade performance of Sri Lanka has been in decline for some time. You'll find that the share of external trade as a percentage or a proportion of the overall Sri Lankan economy has been in decline. In fact, it's declined quite precipitously over the past couple of decades. Now, this decline is especially concerning given the urgent task of national reconciliation. While I don't reduce everything to economics, I do firmly believe that the task of national reconciliation will be made much easier in an environment characterized by rapid economic growth and job creation. Conversely, the task of national reconciliation will be all the more challenging in an environment of stagnant or even declining growth and employment prospects. We aim to progressively eliminate the various legal and policy obstacles to greater trade and investment in Sri Lanka. We think we know what those obstacles are. We want to sideline them.
The news: the 6th Colombo Defence Seminar 2016 commenced today at the BMICH.
The Colombo Defence Seminar, which was initiated as an annual forum in the year 2011 by the Sri Lanka Army, focuses on matters pertaining to national, regional and international security. This year's conference will take place under the theme Soft Power and its Influence on Global Issues, and will see the participation of over 800 local and international delegates. Minister of Regional Development Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca, State Minister of Defence Ruwan Wijewardena and the Secretary to the Ministry of Defence Karunasena Hettiarachchi attended the opening ceremony.
The rise of influential non-state actors, extremism, separatism and terrorism, and increasing severity of non-traditional threats along with mass migration have now compelled nations to have forethought in order to preserve their strategic interests under these challenging circumstances. These challenges have made countries to pursue a more collaborative approach to resolve these issues peacefully. With these sensitive circumstances, the importance of soft power has been elevated more than ever before.
Several years after the end of the war on terrorism, our leadership has realized how important it is to share the knowledge gained over the decades with the international community. In the post-IS age of widespread terror, our in-house expertise on defeating terrorists can be of immense benefit for the rest of the world. This approach of attraction and consequently acquisition of others in global stage have not been developed in Sri Lanka, and this is the necessity that we need to stress upon. Our President and the government is following a Asia-centric balanced foreign policy, further strengthening relationship with both West and the East. You see a perfect balance in our foreign policy. However, there are many ways soft power can support this initiative. Having deterred terrorism by hard power, we are still in the process of reconciliation. Thus, the military assistance in reconciliation, rehabilitation, as well as rebuilding disrupted communities is vital. Establishment of the defense think tank is thus one of the initial steps in developing our military software agenda in the line of such collaboration.
Speaking at a workshop in Jaffna today, Northern Province Chief Minister C.V. Vigneswaran commented on the fisheries industry in the Northern Province.
The workshop on the Sustainable Fisheries Development Project for the Northern Province, which is funded by the Asian Development Bank, was held at the Public Library Auditorium.
Our livelihood has been affected for a long period of time due to the extraneous interferences. In our war-affected areas, the fact that so far Navy has controlled our fisheries harbours and fishing in general needs to be taken into consideration. Such interference must now cease. In other words, our people must be freed from their poverty brought on them by the war, ensured security, which ironically is disturbed by the presence of the Navy and the other military personnel here, and guaranteed equity, which is what living with dignity is all about. It is wrong to believe that the military should be a permanent feature of our lifestyle. Increase of police stations, even double-fold, could deal with the security of our people. The need for a military which has lost its importance after 2009 must be reassessed. Please realize we in the North have come of age and we need affection and not your interference.
General Secretary of the United People's Freedom Alliance, Minister Mahinda Amaravira, says that all constituent parties of the alliance have been extended an invitation to attend the 65th anniversary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
The anniversary celebrations of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party is scheduled to be held at the Maligapitiya grounds in Kurunegala on Sunday evening. Party members from Kurunegala as well as other parts of the country are gearing up to attend the party convention, which will be presided over by President Maithripala Sirisena.
දැන් කී දෙනෙක් කිව්වද පක්ෂ හදනවා කියලා?
How many people said that parties would be formed? Ratwata said that a brand new party would be formed. Prasanna said a new party would be formed, but he is now silent. Then S.M. Chandrasena followed by saying that the party has already been formed and that only a constitution is required. Then Basil Rajapaksa said that the party has been formed and that they will definitely contest separately. So all SLPers must understand that the faction which wants to form a party and are interested in destroying the SLFP, they are the ones who are against us. It does not matter if those persons attend the ceremony or not. Those who have been invited to Kurunegala are those who are interested in safeguarding the SLFP and want to bring victory to the party. Views were also expressed at several locations today regarding the party anniversary. We cannot allow anyone to split the party and tear it apart. His Excellency the President, who currently holds the party leadership, has initiated an extremely successful program for the party's victory. So I will silence myself by saying that all of us in our district will be going to Kurunegala to attend the 65th anniversary. When they went on marches of the past few days, those who did not convene Balamandala meetings and get their consent are now convening these meetings and saying that their consent is not to support the party. These are double standards. Those who are listening to this must be thinking that these people are fools. Attempts to take this conflicting issue across the country are being carried out by leaders of a few small political parties who are supposedly allied with the UPFA with the aim of creating a conflict and chaos within the SLFP for their own political benefit. Which is why SLFPers from all 10 electorates in the Galle district will be attending the anniversary celebrations in Kurunegala on the 4th. This is the second party anniversary which is being held under the President in his capacity as chairman of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. So all preparations have been made to hold a successful convention in a manner which has never been done in history. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party, as a single party, held a May Day rally in Galle unlike no other with a strong public attendance. We are now heading to Kurunegala to break our own record. We will break this record set by the Sri Lanka Freedom Party under the leadership of President Maithripala Sirisena.
Maithripala Sirisena ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ නායකත්වයෙන්
The people have not forgotten how they brought an image of an autocratic rule into the party. The entire country knows how the Sri Lanka Freedom Party fell apart in 2001. Even then, we regrouped the SLFP in Galle. Therefore, we are confident that a large gathering comprising of representatives from every electorate and the general public will attend the anniversary celebration.
ජනතාව අති විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක් සහභාගී වෙනවා.
අනිවාර්යෙන් සහභාගී වෙනවා කියලා මේ ඉන්න සියලු දෙනා අද ප්‍රතිඥා දෙනවා.
8 suspects, including former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa, were issued notices by Colombo Chief Magistrate Gihan Pilapitiya today. The notices were issued for the suspects to appear in court on the 30th of September over the case filed yesterday by the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption regarding transactions surrounding Avantgarde. Presenting their case to court yesterday, the Bribery Commission said the functioning of a floating armory had caused a loss of 11.4 billion rupees to the country. The Bribery Commission filed cases against several persons, including chairman of Avantgarde, Nisank Senadipati. Cases have also been filed against former Additional Secretary at Ministry of Defence, Damayanti Jayaratne, former Navy commanders Admiral Somatilaka Disanayaka, retired Admiral Jayanath Kolambage, and Admiral Jayantha Pereira, former CEO of Avantgarde Major General K.B. Egodavela, and its former chairman Major General Palita Fernando. Parliamentarian Nama Rajapaksa and 3 others appeared before court once again today on the charge of money laundering over a case where Halo Corp and Govers Private Limited were allegedly brought over for 30 million and 15 million rupees respectively. Sujani Bolagolagama, Nidra Samranayaka and Sudarshana are 3 other suspects involved in the said incident. The Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division informed court that 2 other suspects, Iresha Silva and Imde Kurunajiva, have left the country to evade court. Now, Additional Magistrate Nishant Piri ordered that warrants be issued once again for the 2 suspects. How particular are you about your sanitary facilities in your home? It is unlikely that you would hesitate to spend whatever it takes to ensure the best facilities you can afford.
But are you aware that there are those who suffer without this basic facility in our own country?
Come the 100-day initiative. With the people, for the people.
This project commenced at the Bodhi Malu Vihare in Nochiagama, Radhapura this morning with the blessings of the gods and the appreciation of everyone who were gathered there. This temple is the only place of worship located for miles around. It also provides spiritual refuge to many area residents that live in close proximity to it. This includes children who arrive at the Dhamma school for their Dhamma knowledge and those who arrive to obtain Sil on Poya days. However, this temple did not have a proper sanitary facility to accommodate all these devotees.
සමහර අය මේතන දවල් කාලේ සිල් අරගෙන වැසිකිලි පහසු ගන්න ඉන්න තැනක නැතිඳා ගෙවල් වලට යනවා. අපි ඉතින් හැමදාම
This is something we see all of the time. I think Newsfirst is the only channel that stays with the poor people disregarding financial gains. It is the only channel who has the view that all people face hardships. The name Sirasa has been engraved in our hearts. The Newsfirst team is always the first to help us at times of need. The residents of the Kusumpur area requested that a sanitary facility be constructed at the temple under the Gamma the 100 Days initiative. Sirasa is one of the leading media organizations in Sri Lanka. This is a channel that can change the ideologies of the nation. If there's any organization that gives back to the people in however way they can, it is the Sirasa Media Network. At a time when schools and temples are being closed, we have to thank the chairman and the staff of Sirasa for providing a requirement at a temple and for creating an avenue where the ideologies of the people of the country will be changed. On behalf of the people, I am thankful to the Citizen Media Network for taking the lead on such activities and for supporting us to uplift the living standards of these villagers. Currently, the government, the 100 Days Initiative has vested 10 projects in the public, while another 27 are underway.
Minister of Telecommunication and Digital Infrastructure, Harim Fernando, addressing a media briefing in Sirikota today, commented on the 65th anniversary celebrations of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
If they can listen to their own conscience, they will realize that the leader of the joint opposition who was shouting is not in the country when their convention is about to take place. He has left the country and has hid himself in Malaysia. It is shameful if they still call themselves SLFPers. What they are doing is creating the juncture where the SLFP will be destroyed. We are sad. I think that the SLFPs will oppose the travesty that is being carried out on the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. If Mahinda Rajapaksa has an ownership of the SLFP to that extent, if he has ownership of the party saying that his father created it, and why did he have to go to Malaysia just for one day?
How many people will you take to Kurunegala?
Why should I take people to Kurunegala?
You too have joined in holding the anniversary celebrations.
They're all false stories. The SLFP is not bankrupt to that extent. Can I say just one thing to you? It is not difficult to bring people when you are in power. I think Maithripala Sirisena will not have any issue gathering people. They will not need us. He has a vast mechanism. He is the president of the country. If you think he cannot gather the people, that is a joke. He has the mechanism, he has the coordinators, and he has the people. That is an opinion created by the joint opposition.
As mentioned in our headlines, the chief prelate of the Malta chapter, Most Venerable Tibetuabe Sri Sumangalathero, commented on the Gamadha 100 Days Initiative.
You can take a look at that story on our website www.newsfirst.lk.
And with that, we wrap up Primetime News. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Sandro Ferdinando.
And I'm Azra Hassan. Take care and good night.